What does Tito Mboweni's plan have to do with this, Toby?
Tito Mboweni has come out with this fantastic plan for the country, and people say it's not a plan, it's a discussion document. Well, it's the most coherent vision for how to improve the country's finances since Trevor Manuel produced the National Development Plan. So in amongst it, there's a lot of talk about tourism, telecoms, mining, energy. Interestingly enough, he's saying, based on the research they're quoting, the cost of telecoms could come down 25% over the next, I think it's 3 or 6 years. I mean, that's fantastic. You know, if the Treasury says the cost can come down, I'm going to trust the Treasury's research. So it's very interesting. There's also some dispute about, or there's some contradiction between his plan about releasing spectrum and some of the communications out of the communication ministry. So what the country needs is the spectrum that's available to release. And a lot of it is used to transmit these old analog television signals. If that can be freed up, if we can transition, as we should have several years ago, according to the international deadline, to using what's called digital terrestrial television, DTT, it frees up those analog airwaves so that they can be used for transmission of data. And of course, that's a much more effective use of it. So Tito Mboweni clearly has a good vision. I mean, he always has a good Lucky Star Pilchards recipe, but he has a very good, clear vision for where we should be going in terms of telecoms. And it's quite heartening to get such a bold policy statement out of government, given the flip-flopping and the backwards and forwards and the changing and the fights. I mean, I don't have to remind viewers of the fights that, you know, Faith Matambu, when she was communication minister, went against the ANC's own policy. Then it emerged that she was giving confidential cabinet minute documents to the Guptas. All of this was around what's called set-top boxes. The TV set needs a box to interpret the digital signal. It's designed for analog signals, so you needed a piece of technology that could convert the digital to the old analog televisions most people have. And of course, that was a cash cow that it's appeared that the Guptas were after as a contract to build. We are assuming, based on the Gupta leaks and all the other evidence that's come out. So finally, a bit of policy certainty, and of course, that's what the country needs, policy certainty, so that we can develop industries like telecoms or energy or mining.
Okay, so other part of the puzzle, the employees at the South Ukraine nuclear power plant, they reportedly hooked up their cryptocurrency mining rings to the plant's internal network. Apparently the bad news is that exposed the plant to the broader internet. Talk us through that.
Isn't that hilarious? So these geeks or engineers sitting in the power plant wanted to mine cryptocurrency, so they connected a nuclear power station, Jane, that's supposed to be cut off from the internet. Air-gapped is the phrase. There's a gap between the internet and any computers. And they hooked it up so that they could mine cryptocurrency. Of course, when it was discovered, it's a massive security leak. But that's not the only big story around cryptocurrency this past week. What's happened is there's an Australian guy called Craig Wright, who claims he is the founder of Bitcoin, and if that's the case, one of his former colleagues or partners, the man's deceased estate is claiming $4 billion worth of Bitcoin from Craig Wright. So it's a complicated thing. Just to remind viewers that a character called Satoshi Nakamoto published a white paper that 10 years ago that postulated the idea of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the blockchain, really. And it was this white paper that gave rise to cryptocurrency and to Bitcoin and all the trading and millions that have been made as a result of that. But no one's been able to establish who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Craig Wright has said he is it, and he's released things that he says proves he's it. But if he is the guy, he's got a $4 billion bill to pay to his late business partner's estate.
Oh, nasty. Let's leave it there, Toby. Thank you very much.